What's up, guys? JPat Diecast here, and I know that Throwback Weekend is officially done, but I've seen all the cars in person, and I was originally going to get this video, try to get it out before the race Sunday. However, things did not align the way I wanted it to, but we're still going to take a look at the my top 10 throwbacks and a few honorable mentions. Boom. So let's go ahead and get into it, guys. Just a quick how this is going to work. I'm going to do the top 10. I want to do a few honorable mentions before we reveal the number one. Most people probably know what my number one is because I think it's everyone's number one. But there are a few that I just couldn't quite put on this list that were pretty good. But anyways, we're going to start with our top 10. And number 10 is Dean Thomas's Jamie McMurray 2007, 2009, whichever year you want to call it, because it's pretty, those paint schemes are pretty close. I'd have to look at pictures of them, but I'm pretty sure they are the exact same paint scheme from when he won at Daytona and Talladega in the 07 and 09. It's one of those paint schemes. It's got the number working for it. I usually tend to go more lean. Throwback's better if the number is 1, it has the correct font, and 2, if it's the correct number. And then if the sponsors play along, it's always great. And it looks like the Thompson is, which I'm assuming is his family business or whatever, they went full in. The Sam Hunt Racing logo even reminisces the old Roush Fenway logo that was back in the mid-2000s. So it's really cool, good scheme to see. I think it might have wrecked. I tried to watch a little bit of the Xfinity race, but it was a good scheme. It just comes in at number 10 in my opinion. So number 9, we're going to go with Cole Custer's Jimmy Spencer's 2002 Target throwback from the probably most known for Kurt Busch pushing him out of the way to get his first win, which is very ironic when you think about it, because the 41, I think, has been kind of made famous by Kurt Busch for winning the Daytona 500 in quite a few races in the latter part of his career. So that's kind of funny to think about. That's the reason I got it up high, to be honest with you. Jimmy Spencer's never been one of my favorite drivers. I've always thought he's just kind of a douche, and I still kind of think that a little bit. However, there is something about that being the paint scheme. It's one of those that probably a lot of people wouldn't think to throw back to. And this is why I think Throwback Weekend isn't quite dead yet, looking at you, Chase Elliott. Because if you go back to these schemes, there's plenty of schemes out there that people recognize. You don't have to just do the same freaking 5 schemes every year. NASCAR fans like me recognize paint schemes very well, and it really helps us interact, and we really enjoy this weekend. I'm not going to harp on that too much right now, but that's my number 9 spot, and that is the Cole Custer Jimmy Spencer throwback. So my number 8 pick is Leland Honeyman. I think I'm pronouncing that right. And his throwback to Jeff Green's 2000 Nesquik Chevrolet Monte Carlo Busch Series champion. That scheme ran in 2001 as well as a Ford, and then this paint scheme changed in 2002 and Scott Riggs took over. But that paint scheme in general is one I remember. I loved chocolate milk, loved Nesquik as a kid, still do, and I remember seeing that paint scheme be, advertised pretty well. I have the Hot Wheels version of that car, at least the Ford. I don't have the Chevy version, but yeah, it's a great paint scheme. It definitely pulls on the nostalgia member berries for me, and the sponsors did really well with it. I think it's a Coke family racing car. I do know for a fact that one wrecked, but I think there's actually a little bit of a confrontation with him and someone else. But good paint scheme, good throwback. Got all the sponsors working good. The number font changed, so 10 out of 10 in my book. It's at my number 8 spot. At my number 7 spot is Parker Retzlaff. I don't think I'm pronouncing that right. But his throwback is to Ernie Irvan's 1994 Kodak Chevrolet Lumina. Like the COT era throwbacks on these Xfinity cars, those type of throwbacks look really good because the bodies are boxy and they kind of reminisce each other really well. Sponsors all went full in. JD Motorsports usually has pretty good throwbacks. Our sponsors are usually very cooperating, willing to cooperate in this throwback weekend. And they even had like an old ad that you would find in magazines for it that they revealed it with. When I always like that kind of stuff too. So yeah, that's not much to say about it. Like everything, all the secondary sponsors and everything worked really well. And yeah, just a good classic paint scheme with throwback too. And again, I kind of like the Xfinity throwbacks more because the number placement. But anyway, it's good paint scheme, so it is number 7 on my book. So number 6, just missing a top 5, is Eric Jones' John Andretti 1998 paint scheme. It really sucks that STP is no longer partners with Legacy Motorsports. I think that might have ended in 2023. Now that I think about it, before they went to Toyotas. But the 1998 John Andretti paint scheme definitely pulls member berry for me because that was my first 43 diecast. I had the Hot Wheels with the little toolbox that came with it, the little deluxe. And for a long time, I used that one as my Richard Petty car when I did my throwback races when I was like 5 or 6. I didn't realize that it wasn't actually Richard Petty until I was a little bit older. But it's a very clean scheme. I like the kind of scallops, the pre-Penske scallops. The actual red, I think, is a little off a little bit, which kind of knocks it back. And not to, obviously, Legacy's fault of their own. Not having SCP kills it a little bit. They had them for so long, and now it doesn't. So, but still, a good scheme, and it falls just outside the top 10 in my book. And cracking the top 5 will be Sammy Smith and the Dale Earnhardt Jr., the Tony Stewart 3 Doors Down throwback that Tony Stewart ran in a one-off race in 2003 for Chance 2. I was really hoping for something different from Junior Motorsports with the DEI font, but we'll take it. I think they've already kind of done the schemes I really would like to see it that Junior ran back in the early 2000s with the number 8. So that kind of sucks. However, it's still a good throwback. It works well. The sponsors and everything working well with it again. And not really too much else to say about it. I do like that they had Sammy's signature changed to look like Smoke's signature on the name rail back on that paint scheme, and then later in his career. Junior Motorsports usually has some of the best throwbacks, except the 7 car this year, because Brandt's like, hey, we want a throwback, even though we didn't have that sponsor back then. But that's another topic I don't want to harp on too much. It makes my top 5: Sammy Smith's, Tony Stewart, Busch Series throwback. And at my number 4 spot, I've got Brennan Poole's throwback to Jeff Gordon's 2001 Looney Tunes 400 Bugs Bunny DuPont Chevrolet. This one won Best in Show for Xfinity, very deservingly so. I believe it was a fan vote. Brennan Poole drove this car. It ran pretty well. I think it finished top 5, I want to say, in the Xfinity race, which is really good for that scheme. I'm sure we won't say as a diecast. It'd be one I definitely would pick up. But the participation of all the secondary sponsors and everything, I don't know what the sponsors are. I'd have to look at the picture better, even though it was just on the screen, but I'd have to look at it myself. The Frito, they changed their logo for Fritos. They got GMC, look at GMAC. Just, the cartoon of the mascot of the main sponsor, which I did remember, but it's slipping my mind now. Definitely one of my favorites because I love that car. I have a throwback of that original car. Did that about 3 or 4 years ago, so if you want to look that up, I've got a review on it. And yeah, that one makes number 4 on my list. So cracking my top 3 is going to be Carson Quaffel's throwback to Jamie McMurray's 2010 Daytona 500 winning and Indianapolis Brickyard 400 winner from 2010. one of my favorite paint schemes of all time that I've said before. On if you've seen any of my reviews over, if you've seen my review over the 2010 Jamie McMurray Daytona 500 winner. The only thing that would have made this better is if they had the rights to the DEI 1 font. Teresa's still holding on to that one. Don't know why. She sucks. At least we got the 8, but that's the only thing that would have made this better. I do appreciate that. I do kind of like it when they put a little bit of a modern touch on some of these throwbacks, especially if they're not one-to-one full recreations of that paint scheme. The camo is the more updated, like digital camo, the kind of gray that's been on a lot of the Bass Pro cars the last few years, and it looks really good. I wish they would have put the tracker boats on the quarter panel, but instead they use, I guess, their credit card. I think that's what it is, clearance or something like that. That's on the quarter panel, but it still looks good, and it cracks the top 3. It's really hard for me to not make that my number 1, but we'll get there eventually. So at my number 2 spot, I might have fooled y'all at the beginning of the video. It is actually not the Kyle Larson Tony Tiger throwback. It is actually number 2 is Tony Tiger throwback, which won Best in Show for the Cup Series, which it deserved. But Kyle Larson sucks in throwbacks and pretty much ruined the actual race itself. He wrecked on like lap 4, just ran out of talent, and destroyed a beautiful car, which he did last year, the year before that, and the year before that. The 2022 one isn't my favorite because it's just kind of plain, but the other throwbacks were beautiful. Yeah, so got destroyed pretty early, and it will be known for ruining this race, but it's still a great scheme. It was very hard for me not to put it on my number 1. Some things that would have made it my number 1 probably, and I'll put it up on I will put it up on this video if I can find a picture of it. I do not. This is the video. The picture of it is not mine. Somebody else made it, but it would have looked good if it had taken a cartoon picture of Rick Hendrick, put it on the hood, and had the little the quotation bubbles got cars to kind of make it even more accurate instead of just Hendrick cars on the hood. But yeah, I don't think they would do that. Sometimes these brands just don't want to get too silly, but usually when they do, they have better throwbacks, just saying. But yeah, the Tony Tiger Kellogg's Frosted Flakes Terry Labonte throwback to when he won his final race at Darlington, which it's the 2003 specific throwback because when he ran it in 2001 and 2, it didn't have the got milk, or in this case got cars, on the right side of the car, or the little bubbles. It did in 2004, but it was still slightly different, and he didn't win in 2004. So just throwing that in there. So before we reveal my top pick for throwbacks of the 2025 Throwback Weekend, I'm going to do some of the honorable mentions. Let's go ahead and get into it. So the Joey Logano Kelly Yarbrough throwback to his Holly Farms championship winning car from either 76 or 77, maybe 78. I can't think off the top of my head. One of those seasons looked really good. The Pennzoil sponsorship looked pretty good with that paint scheme. Changed the font of the 22, and Joey even had a helmet that just said Kel, which is something Kelly Yarbrough was known for. And then, of course, we also have the Carl Edwards throwback from Denny Hamlin, which ultimately won the race. And that car almost made my top 10, just barely missing it. Just a little bit. It's a little bit too plain. The sponsors look good with it and everything, and Sports Clips used to be a sponsor for Carl when he drove for Joe Gibbs Racing. And then we have the William Byron Jeff Gordon throwback that also I had a real hard time with putting in my top 10, mainly because it's 10-year anniversary. It's been 10 years since Jeff Gordon last drove the 24, so it's a good throwback. However, there's more 24 throwbacks that would have been a little bit more interesting to see that aren't as new. He did dominate the race with that car until the last stage, last green flag pit stops. And then as far as other honorable mentions, the last one I want to mention, it's more of a little bit of a rant because I can't understand why they couldn't do the colors because of the sponsor. And that would be John Hunter Nemechek's throwback to his dad, Joe Nemechek, the 42 Bell South car that Joe Nemechek made famous in the late 1990s. It's one of those things that, why do we, first of all, if we had done it, I don't know why we went with black. The 42 font looked perfectly. I think up until this weekend, I kind of didn't relate that Joe Nemechek and John Hunter have both drove the 42. Threw it back to the Sabco 42, which also was ran by Kyle Petty. We could do a nice Kyle Petty throwback next year, but we'll see if that actually happens. Why do we do black? I don't know why Dollar General couldn't have worked it out where they could have done blue. I understand green is their primary color, but why black? It would have even looked better green, but it just kind of pisses me off because it was close, and it's one of those that you know what it's throwing back to, but the colors are off. The sponsor doesn't really play along, and yeah, we still have the same like design, but it's nowhere near the colors, and that takes out a lot on me. So that one pissed me off the most, besides the Chase Elliott one. We're not going to talk about that one on here. But now, without any further ado, we are going to reveal our number one spot. So my favorite throwback of the 2025 NASCAR Throwback Weekend is by far the Ricky Rudd throwback that is driven by, I have to remember who drove it actually. I had a list, sorry. Kyle Sieg. I was thinking Ryan Sieg, but it's Kyle Sieg driving that car, the Night Owl Ford Mustang, and it looks really good because one, it's on a Ford, it's on the right manufacturer, the number font's correct, the colors are correct, all the sponsors played along, including the secondary sponsors. Everything just looked immaculate on that car. I really, really want a diecast of that one. I need to get the original Ricky Rudd diecast, but I don't know if they're gonna make that one. Sometimes it takes them a while for these back marker teams to offer them. I'm sure if that one does get produced, it will get, or it does get offered, it will get produced. I would think so. But that one is my favorite. It just beats out the Terry Labonte throwback, mainly because of the sponsors going a little bit more in depth than the HendrickCars.com. But anyways, that's my top 10, guys. If you enjoyed it, leave a thumbs up and subscribe. I'm going to do more videos like this instead of just breakdowns. This is more of my forte anyways, is talking about paint schemes and stuff and looking back at NASCAR history. So, like I said, guys, thanks for watching. Hope you have a great day or night wherever you may be, and we'll see you on the next one, guys. Peace out.